plug. It had become much too expensive for him to continue, and Carter said, look, I'll fund it if you don't find anything, but fund it. And I think I have a place to look where we haven't looked yet.
When Lord Carnarvon found that this archaeologist really think that he will discover the tomb, he gave him the money.
By early November, history was made. Carter had found the first step of a staircase of 16 steps that would lead to the tomb.
After Howard Carter discovered the tomb, he really wasn't able to open it because he had to contact his financial supporter, Lord Carnarvon, in order to have him come and be present at the opening. So he sent a telegram to Lord Carnarvon saying, "At last have made discovery."
Days later, a breathless Carter, with Carnarvon behind, leaned forward, extended his candle into the first of the 4 chambers, and when questioned by his patron as to whether he could see anything, Carter uttered what may rank as one of the world's great understatements. Yes, wonderful things.
November 4, 1922 was very important day in the field of archaeology. It is the first time, actually, that a major tomb to be discovered completely intact like this.
But then the real work began. It took almost 10 years to clear, photograph, record, conserve, pack and ship an astounding 5,000 artifacts from the tomb in southern Egypt and move them to the Cairo Museum in the north.
Well, the New Kingdom, as far as funeral ritual was concerned, was an era of conspicuous consumption. So tombs were loaded not only with objects of daily life, but also ritual objects and magical instruments. Tutankhamun, of course, being a king, had even more, and then being the inheritor of the material from the tombs of his ancestors at Amarna, when the court moved back to Thebes, he was given those as well. So he had multiple sets of material. So this tomb was probably the richest one that ever existed.
The ancient Egyptians believed that the afterlife was very much like everyday life. People placed many household objects inside their tomb for the next world. They also included shabtis, small mummy-like figurines of servants. When the deceased owner of the tomb reached the afterlife, he or she uttered a magical spell to summon the shabti to life. Some shabtis had tiny tools in preparation of their role in the next world. This shabti of Tutankhamun is unusual due to its size and details. Among the many treasures found in Tut's tomb were hundreds of items of jewelry to adorn the king, games for his amusement, vessels for oils, and as Carter himself stated, everywhere the glint of gold.
Many of the objects in the tomb are made of gold or covered in gold leaf, and gold had important religious significance to the ancient Egyptians. According to Egyptian mythology, the flesh of the gods was gold, which is why you have gold finger stalls and toe stalls on the mummies, and gold mummy masks. Because when you died, you actually became a god. You became one with the god Osiris.
You know, gold were plenty in Egypt. We know the location of the quarry of gold in Nubia. We have the first map of gold in the Museum of Turin in Italy. It shows to us exactly the location of gold. One good letter sent by the king of Mitanni to Amenhotep III was telling him, send me gold, because gold in your country like dust. And the tomb of Tutankhamun with all the gold can show how Egypt, gold was everywhere.
The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb was the greatest archaeological find in history. But soon tragedy would strike, and the legend of Tutankhamun's curse would sweep the world. Lord Carnarvon died 3 months after the tomb's discovery, never living long enough to see for himself the ultimate prize, the coffin, the golden mask, and the mummy of Tutankhamun.
You know, The curse of Tutankhamun actually is one of the most interesting stories that people love to hear all the time, and became famous in the time of Tutankhamun because Lord Carnarvon gave exclusive to London Times to publish anything about the tomb. Other reporters, what they will say. And this is why there existed stories that anyone who will enter inside the tomb of Tutankhamun, he will be murdered. This text is not true. And Lord Carnarvon's death, 3 months after the discovery, also many stories happened to him. But I will tell you, I never really believed in the curse of the pharaohs.
When we come back, preview of some of the many treasures that will be on display in a brand new exhibition that will make its North American debut at the Atlanta Civic Center this fall. Many decades have passed since the discovery of Tutankhamun. Today, the sands of Egypt still hide many mysteries. Dr. Zahi Hawass is presently conducting his own archaeological expedition near the pyramids and the Valley of the Kings, where preliminary finds have revealed the entrances to 2 new tombs.
Over 26 tombs for kings existed in this place, and more than 37 tombs for non-royal kings. But still, the valley never explored well, because there is many tombs of kings that never discovered until now, like the tomb of Ramses VIII and the tomb of Thutmose II, and all the queens of Dynasty 18, they should be buried here. All the excavation that has been done here, done by foreigners. And this is why I started the first Egyptian expedition in the valley, between the tomb of Ramses II and the tomb of his son, Merimbetah. You have this big mound that I always believed that the tomb of Ramses VIII should be existed here. We have been excavating in this place since November 2007, and actually we came through a major discovery. You can see how really this area was completely covered, and our excavation revealed the beginning of the tomb. It shows stairs coming down, and if you look down here, you can see that this is exactly the same style of KV63. I really cannot say if this royal tomb or non-royal tomb, because as we know, in the Valley of the Kings, the king can bury anyone. Looking at each tomb of the 63 tombs that found in the Valley of the Kings, each one has a story, each one has magic, each one is a mysterious place. And that is the pit that can lead us to the entrance of a new tomb, KV64. And if we discover another intact tomb, the people will talk about this tomb all their lives. It will take the glory from King Tut.
Excavators from all over the world work in Egypt, and a large group of Americans have been excavating at the site of Abydos, the area sacred to the god Osiris. And Dr. Joseph Wegner of the University of Pennsylvania recently began uncovering the unusual burial of a Middle Kingdom pharaoh.
We're here at South Abydos excavating the tomb of Senwosret III. He's a king